On the floor.
Cash money in the Hizzie. Look at you, rich bitch.
Well, thanks to you, Tom, I'm a professional gambler now. I mean, I bet on the Super Bowl for the first time in my life, and I won.
Isn't that great? This
I
is why
won.
this is why people bet on sports, because it's a whole new level, isn't it?
Please, good luck to the rest of all of you people. I'm a completely different human being now.
I think I won $15.
Which was fun. Tell me what did you bet on exactly?
I bet on the Tom Brady's first pass being less than 8.5 yards. I bet on proposition bets because I have a good friend that loves Kansas City. I
Yeah.
didn't really think the Bucks could win. That's me.
Yeah.
That was my brain. My heart wanted the Bucks to win, of course.
Yeah.
So I said, well, don't get in one of those odd things where you bet for Kansas City, but you're rooting for the Bucks. It makes the game shitty. It just ruins the game when you have those cross bets where you bet this way, but you want this to happen. It's never good.
Sure.
So I bet that the first pass that Brady would have would be less than 8.5 yards.
And why did you feel that way? Why did you?
Well, when they start the game, they usually do a little, either handoff for a little quick run. You just get to let's knock the rust off. Let's get, let's hit something, and let's start the game. And then usually a quarterback, they want to put in a nice safe play. Just let's put a guy out in the wing, something over the middle, short. Let's get short play. We're not going to throw a bomb out of the box.
They never surprise you. They never say, you know what?
They could. I mean, they could have done it, but 90% of the time. Now, what happens after they catch it? The guy could run for 30 yards, but usually it's catch, and it went exactly as I thought it was going to go. The guy caught the ball, ran 3 yards, got tackled. There you go. We got first pass. Boom, $4 in Daddy's bank account.
$4. Now, see, because I don't gamble.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a professional gambler now, I bet all of my $100 for the Bucks to win, because when you were showing me how it worked, I wanted to have them win at least by 3. So tell me how this works, because I don't understand. If I would have placed the bet on they win by 3, but they won by a lot more than that, would I still have won?
Well, you did. You bet.
I bet that they would just simply win.
Which is yeah. Now, if you were going to give 3 points away, give Kansas City, you would have won more money.
Well, damn it.
Well,
all right. I won $135, and it made the game so much fun. I was cheering. I was taunting people online. I was a monster. People
the N-word. Please.
Get out of here. So it was super fun for me. I feel like it was super fun for everybody, but people that were obviously fans of Kansas City, because it seemed to be a blowout.
Yeah. And let me say this. There's one thing about a blowout. If you're on the wrong end of the blowout.
Yes.
Is that you don't grouse about some referee call, or it's a close game, but it was a coin toss at the end, so it's a close game, but you don't win. And especially if you win on some sort of fluke play, or you lose on a fluke play, I'd rather, if I'm playing, I'd rather get crushed, and there's no doubt about it, and the game's over, and there's no, if I only did this. No, you guys did a lot wrong.
I feel like there were a lot of penalty calls on Kansas City. What was that about?
Was killing themselves. They were holding like crazy.
Yeah, why were they doing that?
Well, sometimes, see, what happens is you get into the big bowl games, and the referees want to eat their whistles, is what they say. They can eat the whistle. They do this in basketball as well, where they're going to call a game tight during the season. But during the playoffs, they're going to let guys push and shove a little bit more. They're going to let you engage a bit more.
Okay.
And usually they will let you engage a little bit more. It's kind of a signal to the defense that the defense gets to be a little rougher around the edges.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but now these guys were like just grabbing people, you holding, grabbing, and then, football is all about timing. The quarterback's got 1.6 seconds to let the ball go, on a particular play. And if you're holding the guy from running, he can't run the pattern. He can't be where he needs to be in 1.6 seconds. So,
can I ask you the fashion end of this? Because I noticed Kansas. Here's a fashion question about the Super Bowl. So I noticed Kansas City had yellow gloves on. And I felt like with the yellow gloves, I get it, it matched their little uniforms and their shoes. But I noticed you could tell more when they were taking advantage with pushing and shoving. If they had white gloves on, I feel like it wouldn't have been as easy to see what they were doing.
Yeah. How about, yeah, gloves that match the opposition's shirts.
So now that I'm a professional gambler, I'd like to recommend
Wow.
fashion tips because I feel like that worked against them.
That's an interesting point. I've always felt, this is something I've always felt like with regards to football, is they should bring in a magician, an illusionist to work with the team on a certain couple things, because you as quarterback, you want to pretend you still have the ball. You as a running back, you want to pretend you still have it. As an end, you want to pretend you're really going off for a pet. You know what I'm saying? So you don't
do that because that's really smart.
I don't know that I've ever heard it. But I mean, they do it, but I'm saying bring in a professional illusionist to make you look like or a mime or something where I really have the ball on.
Wow.
Because I do like, here's the deal. I do a coin trick, right?
Yes.
So now here's the coin and I make it disappear.
Right.
But the trick is you've got to practice this move, practice. And you got to pick up the coin every time. And then when you want to make the coin disappear, it has to be the same movement. Otherwise, people get, so if you,
how could they not, after all these years, not be doing stuff like that?
I mean, they do it. I mean, there's an intention to pretend I have the ball when I don't, but I don't know that they've ever brought in a professional illusionist to look at it.
We need a David Blaine football team. Can you imagine the illusions?
In professional football, it's a seconds count. If you can freeze a linebacker or freeze a safety from doing what you don't want them to do, that could really help.
Now that I'm rich, you and I should buy a football team and you can hire the magician and I'll do the styling of their clothes, because I feel like the colors were off. And I'm telling you, those yellow gloves worked against Kansas City.
Yes, it's a very good point. It's an interesting thing because now you're working around the edges. You know, football is essentially the same. 11 and 11, you get the same type of guys. So if you can make like they did in baseball, ever hear of Moneyball?
No.
Well, a smart guy in Oakland looked at how baseball is played and he determined that even though this guy may be thought of as being more valuable than this guy and paid more money, this particular guy, because of statistics, he would fit better in the team and the team would be more successful. And we're also going to save money. So they started looking at guys in a very mathematical way. And they started trying to get an edge with statistics. And so we're looking at, with magicians and fashion, just trying to get a little bit of an edge on the next team. It's an interesting thought.
I'm telling you, you've opened a whole new world for me, Tom. Who knew that I'd be such a good gambler?
But I probably have bet $100 on something, but I don't think I ever bet $100 and won.
It's, I will say this too. Obviously, I know nothing about football. Obviously, I was very lucky. I told you this. I'm a lucky person, though. I'm a very lucky person. And I feel like because I made that bet, that's why the Bucks won. I'm like those guys that will wear the same football shirt because they don't want to, give bad luck to the team. I'm that lady. So
they don't want to have sex.
Say that again?
They wear the same shirt 12 days in a row.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did enjoy the Super Bowl, and I do want to ask you really quickly. Oh my gosh, I'm Melinda McKinsey, by the way.
And I'm Tom Wise.
We're unpacking some shit with you today. I did want to ask you, I thought this was interesting too on social media, the debates and the dialogue about The Weeknd, the performer for the halftime show, which I personally, if you know anything about The Weeknd, you know why he did what he did, why the face masks, why the dancers. But I'm seeing so much on social media. Oh, it was weird. Here's my question. Is this who we are?
You with the leopard jacket.
Well, here's my question though, Tom. If you see something you don't understand, do you just simply post something and go, that was weird, I don't get it? Or do you maybe look it up and go, why did they wear those masks? What is The Weeknd? People were just throwing shit on Facebook and complaining without doing any kind of research. And it kind of broke my heart because I thought, I get why we have so many people screwed up in politics, because you see something you don't like, and instead of doing any research at all, you just start throwing out your opinion like it has any value whatsoever.
it's interesting because we had a 23-year-old and a 62-year-old in the same room yesterday.
Okay.
And somebody said, "Who's the halftime guest?" And I said, "It's one word, like, something." And I was off because clearly it is one word, but it's two syllables. So, and I was not familiar. I was familiar with the person Weekend,
Okay.
but I couldn't put a song to that person.
Oh, so many good songs.
Yeah. And then, but the 23-year-old knew
Yes.
and was chastising us for not embracing the Weekend. And the 58-year-old next to me didn't know anything about the Weekend either.
And how did the
And the
younger
60-year-old
person,
didn't know either.
how did the younger person describe the weekend? Did they have anything in particular?
Well, we thought maybe it was a band.
Oh,
But it's funny because when the music starts playing, and it's interesting that, oh, I recognize that tune. Oh, I've heard that, but I'm thinking, where would I hear that? I listen to talk radio, and
uh,
I'm never in the car listening to popular music.
got it. Got it.
So
Well,
it seeps into the culture around the corners.
it
Like
does.
might be on a commercial, on a car commercial, something
Yes.
like that, or a
Yes.
bumper music for something.
So did you enjoy his performance, or what was your feeling on
Okay,
it?
first of all, he wasn't Prince. Okay, so that he had that going against him. But it's funny because people have a certain expectation. If you put up the Eagles, that'd be a very safe bet for 63% of your audience. They would love to
Yes.
see the Eagles play some old hits from the 70s. However, let's try to be progressive and bring new, fresh people into the tent. So
Yes.
you're gonna piss off old Whitey.
Yes.
And you're right. If you're living your life, do you have to live in the 70s and 80s? Can you try to bump it up a little bit?
Bump
I
it
mean,
up, man.
I enjoyed the fact that when I was raising my kids, I was listening to music in 2000 that I would never have listened to, you know,
Absolutely.
all sorts of different bands. And I listened to their South Korean boy bands when they come home. And so
Yes.
it's fun music I'd never been uh,
Yes.
introduced to. And I also find this because I like watching TikTok every now and again for a little bit of
Yes.
10
You
minutes of
can
amusement.
do TikTok. Yeah.
And you hear songs. Oh, that's catchy. Oh, that's interesting. A lot of
Yeah.
rapping songs that I never would be introduced to. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're nuts
Do
not to
you
embrace.
do you have Alexa? Do you participate with Alexa?
The manager here has something.
Okay. So here's what I do to try to keep current. I'll be doing things around the house and I'll say, Alexa, play the top hits from Australia.
Oh, really?
Alexa, play Italy's top hits. And then you can hear music from
Is
all
it
around
still
the
Dean
world.
Martin?
Excuse me?
Is it still Dean Martin?
It's always Dean Martin, always.
Then the
But it's
moon
interesting
hits your
because you
eyes.
will hear some songs from America, obviously, that are the top hits in other countries. And I really recommend it as a very quick, easy way to, be proactive. You're still doing stuff, you're still
Huh.
active, but you're hearing what's going on around the rest of the world. Because it's very easy to make your world very small, right? Only listen to what you're comfortable with. But I'll tell you, I've learned so much, and I've enjoyed music that was like, I really love this song, so I'll research it. We've got Google, people. All you people that complained about the weekend, Google the fuck out of the
Are
weekend
you
and keep
talking to Paula
complaining.
directly or someone else?
I bet you Paula loved the weekend. The thing that irritated me more than anything else was obviously the non-research was people were like, what about those jock straps on those people's faces? They immediately decided what they thought it was without looking anything up. And they just started trashing it. And I just thought, you know what?
Well, I thought that was a creative way for everybody to wear a mask.
And it is a creative way, but it also has a backstory because he does have a video. He did this whole thing where he started wearing, do you know about this? Where he started wearing stuff on his face. I figured the kids would have told you. So he did this whole thing,
One kid.
kid. His music, he actually talks about society and things that are going on in the world. So he did this whole drawn out thing where he was wearing bandages on his face, to draw attention to it. And then he did this coming out video where he had like his face was tight, he had the high cheekbones, so it
Ooh.
looked like he had redone his face. And the song and the story was about Hollywood and manipulation and how everybody looks the same now. And so those bandages were in respect to that song and what's going on. There was some deep meaning in it. And then you get these angry people going, all the jock straps. And I'm like, God, you're missing so much by
It's
being mad and not researching.
once you say no, once your mind is closed, you're done. Right? Nothing can get in.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, I personally would have preferred, you know, Fine Young Cannibals or something, but I enjoyed the weekend.
did
It
you
was,
enjoy it
yeah,
though? I mean,
it was one guy who's singing his heart out.
I loved how another thing when I read about it this morning is they said he took care to not take up the field and have all that equipment on the field because it's a lot of work for them, right? They have to dismantle the stage immediately. So what he did was he stayed up in the stands, he did the choir, he did all that. At the very end, they all ran out into the field, but it was just them. So they could run off the field and it made it easier for that kind of stuff. I think that's valuable and it's
Absolutely.
important for people to
No,
know.
that's
So,
wonderful. Try to make it a positive experience rather than judging.
right?
Are
I
we
mean,
still
now
talking
that
to
I'm rich, I
Paula?
know a
Or
lot more stuff. So
are you drinking?
yeah, yeah.
Has it stopped? Is this a holdover from
Drinking.
last night?
I'm drinking. No, I just started drinking today after I got dressed up because I got so excited about how rich I was.
So what do you do with that extra $100? Allow me to suggest to do something with it, not just put it in the pile.
Yeah, you know what? I shall. I really had put a little
Mm,
bit of thought and thought, this will be fun, right? Because this will be a story. I love stories. Let me figure out what to do with that $100 and it'll grow into something else. So I
yeah.
absolutely will do something with
So
that 135.
my net, I started the season at $45.
Yes.
I worked it all the way up to almost 65, which is,
Okay.
I'm not going to say impressive, but
A
most
lot of
folks
work.
lose money.
Yeah.
Then you talked me into that crazy $50 bet.
It wasn't my fault though.
No, but I was showing you how to get the easy money. I said, Belinda, look at this. You bet 50 and you'll win 5. I mean, this Pittsburgh can't lose this game. They're favored by 14 points, and then they lose by 10.
Was that the game where I said, "Oh, I wanted to put like all my money on it," and you said, "Don't do that," and so I lost my 20?
Did you
I
lose
can't
20
remember.
bucks on that?
I lost $20 but it was $20 that they gave me. Like, I guess because I hadn't been betting, they were trying to get me to bet. So they gave me $20. I want to be very clear that I haven't put any more money in the pot, that I'm not going to, start buying race horses and stuff and decide that I'm a gambler. This is why I'm doing this parody because I think it's funny
Yeah,
because
I
it's
think,
not my personality. I,
yeah.
I don't know that I'll ever bet again, to be honest with you. I like the idea that I bet and I won, so it's a great story. How good is the story if I gamble away all that money? Not a good story. Not a good story. BTW, this is a wig. Can you
No
tell?
way. It looks great.
Thank you. I bought myself a
So
wig
is
for work.
this.
I know. Well, you can pull it off. I wasn't sure if I could pull it off. I'm trying to
Look at all the money.
figure out if I can wear a wig for work so I can let all my gray grow out. What's that? It's all very shiny from this point. Oh, it's a bunch of coins?
It's funny because you can't see it, but I'm on my dad's roll top desk,
What is
right?
that?
It's 100 years old. Well, this was on my dad's desk when I was a kid. When I was, 4 years old, we go look at this on my dad's desk and go, "Oh my gosh,
Like a paperweight of money?
yeah, that's real money."
I like that idea.
In appreciation of your friendship, Sydney D. Deutsch, City Treasury. How my dad came up with this, who knows? But we
That's
loved it, and then it kind of stayed in the family. And Pat had it for years, and
Aw,
he was done with it. And yes, I want it.
I love that. I wonder what all passed down to Alex. I don't know because I like a lot of funky, weird things. Like, what happens to my sock monkey when I'm gone?
That's.
I've traveled with this for 5 years. I need it in a glass case or something.
Are you taking it to the grave?
Oh, maybe I should. Maybe you know what? No, I'm gonna be cremated. Cremate the sock monkey? I don't know.
No, don't do
Um,
that. Leave that monkey behind.
okay, so now that we've all established that I'm a rich winner,
Winner.
um, excuse me, what do you want to? do have some topics. What would you like to talk about?
Let's do a topic. We're down to 10 minutes.
Shit, I really don't like that we're doing short shows. Okay, I have
Eddie's got work to do.
I got nothing today, man. I got nothing but time. Stay out and play with me. I got nothing but time. Okay, so I have his side of the bed versus her side of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
astrology's best and worst, and lucid dreaming.
Wow. I just had another book of questions. This is the poor
Oh,
man's.
I love the book of questions. Let's ask one. Ask one.
All right. Oh, by the way, we had a little small party of 5 yesterday.
Okay. That's a movie, Party of 5.
Party of 5. We had a great time, but it was interesting. I typically, when I go to Jay's house, if I'm invited to Jay's house, I've known Jay for 30 years. I'm a bachelor. His wife's overcooking. There's more than I don't need to bring a cheese tray.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would typically show up with nothing, not even think about, and she's not thinking about it because we know there's more than that,
Right.
you know, because if I have them over to my house, I don't expect them to bring
Yes.
stuff. It is what it is. So I'm like, so I go, and then people are bringing, there's only a couple of people. Everybody showed up with something. I go, well, my bet is Jay shows up with nothing, which is fine, which is, he's welcome. He's invited as my guest.
Yeah.
Right. But he showed up with a taco kit. And I was curious. I go, how'd this happen? He goes, Kareen, she insisted I get something. Don't show up empty-handed. So the ladies.
Isn't it Super Bowl affiliated with just lots of food?
Yeah, everybody's got lots of food. But I'm saying that.
Yeah. I took your advice. We ordered a bunch of pizzas. It was snowing. We got 7 inches of snow on top of the 16 we already had. It's going to snow all week. I'm not panicked at all. Everything's fine.
So how was the guy that delivered the pizza?
You know what? He rode a bicycle.
Wow.
He rode a bicycle. We tipped him $20 because it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
He was happy to be working.
I know. This is why I told Alex, Tom, because of you, I was not going to order pizza because the weather was bad. And I had the conversation with you and you said, this is a big money day. This is a big food day. Order the food. So we did. And it tells on your app, he's riding a bike. And we're like, surely. So she looked out the window and saw him. So we gave him a 20 because we're like, dude, man, thank you.
So how much was the pizza anyway?
I don't know. I had Alex put it on my card.
You're just, you know what? It's money.
I don't have any idea how much that pizza was.
Oh, look at you.
I don't know.
You've got to pretend for our 3 viewers that you're trying to scratch out a living.
Let's see. It was around $45.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. 60. It was 60.
That's about what, 90 seconds on a sales call to Italy.
Yeah, it's 90 seconds. I can't worry about these things now that I'm a professional gambler. It's all going to work out.
Hey, I start tomorrow. I do my first broadcast. You think this is too busy? I'll clean this up over here. Is this too busy if I tilt the camera down?
I don't think it's too busy, but I will. Here's my one recommendation.
Yes.
I love the colored prints. However, the other side of your room doesn't match. And so it feels like you need more of a balance. If you have modern paintings on one side and then an old style scenic thing, it doesn't really go together. I would maybe take another modern print and put it on the other side. I
don't know that exists.
I bet you've got all kinds of you've got great pictures of your kids that are cool. I would put something to balance it so it's not so.
Hey, I'm listening. Or I could just go out in the kitchen and just do a plain wall behind me.
Well, no, I think it's interesting. I think, what they're telling us is they enjoy seeing our homes, that it's good for them.
I'll clean that nonsense up. That's my new prop.
Yeah.
And I'll clean that back up over there. And I got to come up with something to replace that black curtain.
Why?
Well, I think it looks weird.
No, it's totally fine. Are you kidding me? It's totally fine. That's not the focus. You need something solid behind you. No one's paying attention to the curtain. They're looking at the artwork and what you have to show because you need to be the focus. Yeah. What time is your show tomorrow?
7 a.m.
Holy, I was going to say I was going to watch it. I'm not watching.
I'll call you at 6 to make sure you're up.
You know what? I actually have 4 shows tomorrow. So yeah. So they're in all different cities. It'll be totally fun. But I basically just sit right here with I'm doing a beauty thing and a tooth thing. So I'll just be sitting right here. It's going to be hard for me to take this leopard coat off though. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
That's freaking hot. Cash money.
So yeah. So ask me a question from the book of questions.
All right, here we go. You're invited to a party.
Yes.
That will be attended by many fascinating people you've never met.
Okay.
Would you want to go if you had to go by yourself?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You've never met him.
You know what? Look, you can see my ring light in my glasses.
Yeah.
Doesn't that take away because it looks like I have googly eyes?
Yeah, you look like a criminal.
I got to scoot back. Got to do one of these. I would absolutely go. I would be nervous about it, but I would go because I love meeting interesting people. So I would go and I would be nervous and I would go grab a cocktail right away and hold my glass and look around the room and probably approach someone and hope for the best.
See, that's easy. It's a lot easier for a woman to do that because people are going to want to engage with you anyway. Girls will engage with girls just because they're girls. Like,
Yes.
like they can all flip a girlfriend switch. Like,
Yes.
and then when men are like, yeah, I'll talk to a woman walks up to me and starts a conversation. Yeah. Hello. Yes.
Yes. Would you do that at a party if you knew you had to go by yourself though? I mean, I feel like you do a lot of things alone, no
Yeah,
problem.
I would go, but it would be a little bit more work. I mean,
You being
I tend to
nervous?
think
What's your feeling?
I
What's
think I would tend to try to. I mean, I've walked into situations where, I mean, if you get invited to a party, you probably know one person, right?
yeah, well,
Person who
you have to
invited you.
assume.
I tend to think that I don't want to. I don't. Intimidation is a hard word, but I'm taller, older white guy. It's like I don't
How do
think
you
people.
decide who you're going to talk to? Because I have this whole process when I go somewhere, because I do go by myself, who I decide would be friendly or easy, because it's hard to have chit chat, like small party talk, right?
I would try to engage with a guy my age
Okay.
in the party. If he's standing there and I'd open up and, I'd ask an innocuous question.
Yeah.
Like,
I try not to say, what do you do? Because I feel like that's traditional and you know what I mean?
right.
Do you have fallback questions you ask people?
Are you drinking my drink? Is that? I don't know. I think I would just wait for whatever the moment says, right?
So spontaneous. That's a good answer. I think a lot of people would struggle with that. And I have missed opportunities when I got super nervous about something and then I regretted it later. So it kind of taught me, if I have an opportunity, go. I can always leave the party if I'm uncomfortable, but I can
Absolutely.
never take it, go back and fix it.
I mean, I went to a birthday party I got invited to a year ago. Truly didn't really know anybody. It was a woman on
Oh,
Facebook invited me that I
yeah.
really didn't know. It was her birthday. I didn't know anybody.
How'd it
I
go?
went and had a great time.
See? Yeah. No, that's super nice. I really like that. Let's talk about men's side of the bed versus women. And the reason I brought this up, it was a thing on social media where someone, I think it might have been a TikTok thing, where they noticed when people were posting their bedrooms, a lot of men had the same thing next to their night table or next to the bed if they didn't have a night table. So I would like for you to guess, what do you think is the common thing that a lot of men have next to their side of the bed? Try to think outside of the box as you normally do.
Something that a man would have next to the bed.
Well, let's dig deep. What would a man want next to his bed? What would he
Well,
think?
I mean, cell phone charger. I'd have some sort of something for a cup, like a coaster.
Okay.
I might have a book,
Okay.
knockout drugs, for sure. Um, Cell phone. Would you have a? I don't think you'd have a weapon.
Would you though?
I wouldn't. I mean, I don't.
You don't have any weapons?
No.
Okay, well, this is interesting then. There is a weapon that most men have next to their side of the bed. Do you want to guess what the weapon is?
A weapon, a knife, a hammer, a baseball bat, a gun,
Ding, 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 ding. You got it.
the bat.
A bat.
Really?
A baseball bat. Isn't it funny? I don't know that I've ever dated anybody that had a baseball bat, but I guess it makes sense. A lot of guys have access to bats. It would be something that you think you could use that, if you're not a gun person, but none of the women had a baseball bat.
Well, yeah, because the baseball bat would be used against you.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was fascinating.
Huh.
So you have no weapons at all.
No, but I was thinking, I told a joke. I didn't always get the exact same, response that I wanted, but I thought it was an
Okay.
interesting thing. Is that I was on Facebook. This is honest to God. And there was an ad because on Facebook you can target your audience, so you don't have to
Yes.
spend a $5,000 Facebook ad. You could spend $50 and run
Yep.
an ad. to a targeted audience.
Mhm.
So this was for a headboard that had a hidden compartment. Have I told you this before?
No, I love it.
Hidden compartment, and you reach back and you open the trap door, and a rifle, a gun, a shotgun falls in your hands.
Fuck, who needs that?
I said, I like this idea because when I'm in bed with my significant other, I have the comfort of knowing that there's not going to be a lot of chit chat whether we're having oral sex tonight or not.
Oh my God, that's actually funny. That is funny. That is very funny. I didn't know such a thing existed. That's crazy. We don't live during pioneer times. Why do you need that?
Well, some people will mount a gun on their sideboard or a rifle on their sideboard.
I don't know. I guess if you are a professional killer, it makes sense because you would know how to use it. Most people, if you had a gun on the side of your bed and someone came in your home, you would panic. You don't know how to behave when you're scared that you'd be able to get the gun and.
Okay, well, let's pretend you've taken a few gun safety lessons and you've gone to the range a few times. This isn't something you picked up on the way home.
Do you think the human population overall really takes the care to take gun lessons if they've bought a gun?
Yes.
Oh, I don't.
So you think there's a bunch of guys that got guns out there but don't know how to handle them?
Yes, or they've taken they've gone to the shooting range once. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that population, they may seem, I think they seem crazy, but at least I think they have a respect for the gun.
Huh, okay.
Maybe not.
I could be totally wrong.
There's percentages on both sides, but I'm just saying, Mike, usually, your dad shows you how to handle a gun or something like that.
Did your dad teach you how to shoot a gun? My dad didn't teach me either.
Because he didn't own a gun.
When was the first time you shot a gun?
I was at a range. It was my first girlfriend when I was down here in St. Pete, ended up marrying her. She had a friend that was a female police officer.
Okay.
And we went to the range one day and I shot her, 35, 32, okay, whatever the hell it is.
I don't know a lot about guns.
I do recall foolishly handling the gun in the back of the car as we were going to the range. I'm going, what are you thinking about?
Scary. That's so scary. I have been, when I lived in Florida, I had a concealed weapons permit. And the only reason I had it was because I was being stalked and I felt like I needed it. I never felt good about it, but I felt like if I had to use it, I would kill someone. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be one of those people saying, please stop. I would just shoot them.
Well, that's the rule. If you take the gun out, your intention is to shoot somebody.
That's exactly right.
We're not warning anybody. We're not showing anybody anything. Because otherwise it'll be in their hands in seconds.
Yes, exactly. But I find guns very intimidating. I can appreciate them, but I hoped that I would never have to use it. And I didn't, but I slept with it, close to my bed, knowing that if I panicked, I would get shot. Because I'm not a person that knows how to get up and take a gun and just, well, this is fun.
Well, I was drifting back I left a shotgun that didn't work back at the ranch when I left.
What do you mean you left it?
I had it on the floor and my intention was to throw it in the car at some point, but I didn't do it. And I go, yeah, but the rule is anything I left behind was theirs. So it didn't work, but it made that nice noise. Hello, who is it? Someone there? Yeah, come on in.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, so real quickly, because I know you said we didn't have that much time. You are a Leo, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm an Aquarius.
And size 15.
Say again?
Size 15.
And you are a size 15 shoe. So every astrological sign is kind of known for like what they're good at and what, the weaknesses are. Do you know as a Leo what is traditionally known to say what's your good stuff and what's your
probably the bad stuff is egomaniac. The good stuff is perhaps leadership.
Okay. According to the stuff I looked at, the good stuff is that you're friendly, you have a very charismatic nature, which I have to say is very true. And I dated a Leo and I have to say that's true. They're very, very charismatic. The bad, according to this, and I don't think this, it doesn't make me think of you, but now that it's saying this, I want to know. It says that Leos have impulse control issues. Is that true?
I don't think I'm any worse off than anyone else. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
have any, I'm not addicted to anything.
yeah, I don't see you that way. I mean, obviously there's extremes on both
Of
sides, but I
course.
just don't see that as your
Of
thing.
course. I think you've got a baseline and some
Yeah.
people are more evolved or less evolved or whatever it's going to be. But no.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm an Aquarius. It says that I have a strong humanitarian drive, which I have to agree with. I have my whole life. And really pissed about the bad stuff. It says that I can be distant and stubborn. Now, damn it. You know what? No, I'm not. I am extremely stubborn. And once I dig my heels in, I will dig in and harm myself to the extent that everything will be on fire around me and I'll stay there and burn. And I
That's
acknowledge
great,
that.
huh? That's great to have that.
No, I acknowledge it. I've actually talked about it in therapy. Like, I know it's an issue of mine. I'm definitely much better than what I used to be. But I will say, in times of sadness or fear, I fall back to it because it is something I'm very familiar with.
Okay. You walk into a man's house. You've dated him 3 times. Okay.
Okay.
On not the coffee table, but the bookshelf, there's an astrological book about sexual compatibility between the signs.
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts?
I'm so glad that he's doing research. That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's smart. I don't think we learn enough about sex. And if someone's doing research on sexual compatibility, that tells me they're trying to figure stuff out. I think it's brilliant.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. You walk in and on his, he's got a writing crop.
Oh, like a toy, like
Yeah.
if he had it out just like in public view, I guess I would have a little bit of a struggle with it because I feel like that's something you need to lead up to.
But
Like, if he had it,
maybe that is a signal.
well, yeah, maybe it is. Knowing my personality, I would probably mention it right away. I don't think I would ignore the writing crop. I will say, when it comes to sexual pleasure, I'm not much for spanking or pain or anything like that. It's not my thing. Or choking. I'm not a fan of choking. I had one guy start to choke me and I was like, excuse me. I tried to take his hands off and he was thinking, oh, it's a game. It's the choking game. No, you got to check in with someone before you try to choke them. I think, right? I think
Yes.
you should make sure they want to be choked. I don't think choking is, for me, not fun. Don't try to harm me in any way.
Yeah. The little bit that I've looked into it, choking usually associates with folks that enjoy drugs,
Oh, interesting.
which doesn't fit your personality type.
Yeah, I'm not a big, drug person, but I have to wonder, for me at that moment, I thought, oh, so he's the kind of guy that likes like dominance, right? Like, he's trying to dominate me because he's choking me, because that makes me feel like,
Yeah. This is all conversation. I agree with you, but it could be his last girlfriend wanted to be dominated and he would wear that suit in order to please her. So you never know what's really going on.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when men have sex with you, they definitely try to use the tricks they use with other women, which I really would not recommend, because we're all very different.
But we can only go off what our history tells us.
I know. That's why I think we should all take classes, man. We all should
get the book.
We should all get the book. That's our tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
Because I know last time you were worn out with the tips. We gave a lot of tips and you weren't going to have it anymore. So the tip of the day is get the book, learn about sex.
That's right. Learn about sex.
Please.
Are we still talking to Paula, or is it Galen or anyone else?
Well, we need to have Christy on, because she knows a lot about sex and a lot about pleasure. She's the one that recommended the book. And I feel like we need to bring her back on, because we just begun to dive into the knowledge that Christy had on all of this. And I think our ratings, they go way up.
Very good. All right. Well, that's it for today.
Okay. So the tip of the day, buy the book, learn about sex. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
And thank you for unpacking some shit with us today.
We'll see you on Wednesday. Book, shows.